How are you, Julie?
I'm good, thanks.
Nice. It's been 2 weeks or so since we last talked about this stuff, and well, I'll be honest, I don't know what your habits were. What were your habits?
Well, the first one was drinking more water.
Drinking more water, okay. And the second one? Or
I
did
don't
you
know
just
if I
do
had
one?
two. And I played around a little bit with my nutrition over the 2 weeks, so I guess we could talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so let's stick with the habit then. So the habit for the past 2 weeks was to drink more water.
Yes.
And
I did pretty well at that. I would say I was 90% of the time I was drinking more than I usually did, which had its ups and downs.
what are some of the ups of drinking more water?
More water is I think I feel better when I drink more water.
How do you?
I think that it helps when sometimes I feel hungry, I may be just thirsty. So if I'm had enough water to drink, that's not a factor.
Right. So it's easier to. Is it fair that you can tell the difference between being hungry and being thirsty a little bit more now?
A little bit more now, yes, yeah.
Cool.
Because there's sometimes where I'm probably just thirsty, but I think I'm hungry, so I might be more likely to eat something. But if I'm well hydrated,
cool.
That's better.
Cool.
It's good around exercising when I drink a lot, although I tend to drink when I work out.
Right.
So that's an easy time to get more water.
But that's more of a replacement rather than an additional.
Yeah.
Right. So that's sort of maintaining homeostasis in that time where you're sweating more too,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Anyway, we don't need that kind of specificity right
now.
So let's see. So water. You said you played around with your nutrition a little bit.
I did.
Tell me about that a little bit. What did you do?
Well, the first week I tried to eat keto. It didn't go so well.
Right. What did you find? What did you find that went well with keto? What did you enjoy?
What went well? I found that it was easy to drink more water eating keto because I had to drink electrolytes so that I wouldn't get sick. So I was drinking more water because of that.
Right.
Other things that went well is the food tasted good. I did feel full most of the time. I felt a little bit by the end of the week like I was just craving to eat carbohydrates, which wasn't good.
So do you think that could have been part of the famous keto flu still?
It could have been, and I probably could have given it longer, but I found that the biggest thing for me was I couldn't work out. Like I had no energy to go to CrossFit class and do a full workout without just about having zero energy.
So what changes have you made?
So I've increased my carbs. On keto, my carbs were about 7% of my macros, and I've gone up to about 20% carbs. So it's still pretty low carb.
Pretty low. Do you know what that is? What that is in grams, roughly, for people that are listening?
For keto, it was 25 grams, and now I'm probably eating around, I think, about 80 grams of carb a day.
Around 80 grams.
Yeah. So it's still pretty low.
Yeah.
And it might be less than that. I'd have to, maybe 60. It's pretty low, yeah.
Anyway, so what we can talk about that if you decide to make nutrition part of your next or an investigation of keto part of your next habit. We can talk about that then. But what was just for giggles? What was challenging about it about keto?
Keto.
And this is not so much part of our coaching conversation, but more of a bit of an information piece because Julie has experience with different levels of nutrition and different ways of eating. So if Julie's challenged by a pure keto diet, like a legit keto diet, then other people are going to be challenged by it as well. So I'm curious to hear what made it harder.
Yeah, I think was the volume of food because you're eating so much fat and fat's so concentrated in calories. Like I eat a tablespoon of oil and get like 150 calories that I would normally eat maybe a couple cups of vegetables.
Yeah, so that's a lot of vegetables to get 150 grams. Or 150 calories.
So I found that challenging. Like I said, I felt really low energy, and I'm sure if I had given it more time, I probably would have gotten used to burning ketones instead of my glycogen and glucose.
Right.
But I wanted to be able to go to CrossFit class regularly and not have to give up on that. So I sort of made a compromise with going a little bit higher carbs. The other nice thing about going higher carbs and getting off keto is I can eat more protein, which I like to eat as well. I find that protein fills me up and I feel good eating it.
Right, yeah, lots of satiety or satiety. Okay, well, we're we're bouncing around a little bit, and
Okay,
that's fine. We can do that. These conversations are not in stone. But for the sake of time, have you given any thought to what you want to do for the next couple of weeks?
Well, independent of your sleep, I'm going to work on sleep for the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
I work late, and I have the 3 nights that I work late, I don't get enough sleep. So trying to work around that to get more sleep. So trying to get home from work on time and go right to bed instead of, if you're asleep, that'll make it even easier because I won't have to worry about staying up for a little bit when I get home.
Right, okay.
And then trying to sleep in the mornings, which I have a hard time doing. So I can try to get 7 hours of sleep every night.
What would make it easier to get, like if you look at the structure of the household or the structure of your life right now, what would make it easier to get some more sleep? What would be helpful?
Ideally, not working late at night would be the most helpful thing, but that's not going to happen.
Okay. What other options are there?
Again, trying to get to bed by like 12:30, so that if I sleep till 7:30, I've still got 7 hours of sleep.
Right.
For me, I sleep well once I go to sleep easily. I sleep well. It's just getting the amount of time in bed that I need to get that number of hours of sleep.
Right. And what's getting you up in the mornings at 7:30?
My dogs, to take them out to the bathroom.
Right.
I just naturally wake up fairly early, so that would be ideally if I could sleep the way I wanted to sleep, I'd probably go to bed at 10:30 and sleep till 7:30 naturally.
Right.
So.
Right. I wonder if it would be helpful to get some blackout blinds to keep the room darker for longer in the mornings for you as well.
Especially since we changed the clocks and it's light significantly early,
All right, so anyway, we digress into our personal life a little bit. So you want to work on, so water was the habit.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to keep working
that
on
went
that.
well. You're going to keep working on water. You are going to work on sleep, and was there anything else?
I didn't really have another one.
Excuse me, is there something else?
Yeah, and it's more, I did have another one. Working on consistency. I'm really good at eating my meals and keeping my nutrition on track on the days that I'm working.
Right.
And then when the end of the week comes, it's sort of like the structure is gone, and I have a tendency to eat more food, or we go out for dinner and I eat more, or things like that. Yeah.
Well, what can we do to help maintain structure? Because I think that's probably a common theme for a lot of people. Is if I'm Monday to Friday I work and I set my meals up and it's easy, and then I've got Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and the wheels fall off and it falls off and it all goes to shit.
Yeah.
So is there anything that we could do, or that you could do, to help mitigate how much the wheels come off when you're not working? Just one thing that might be helpful.
I think one for me is separating out that I don't have to eat more to celebrate that I've made it through a week of work.
Oh, what a neat thing to think about. Yeah. So just getting to Friday doesn't mean
everything go crazy.
Time.
Yes, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting, right? A lot of people use food as a reward.
Yeah. And last week I worked an extra day, so I felt like I deserved to eat a little bit more.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna.
Which I know I'm making.
No. This is not a three principles conversation. This is a practical, in life, inform. What we're doing here. It has nothing to do with the 3Ps. So the water habit went well. So you said it was easy to maintain because you were ketogenic for that first bit.
Yes.
How was it in the second week?
It was a little bit harder in the second week because I wasn't trying to drink the water with the electrolytes, but I was still able to do it for most days.
Okay.
Easier on days that I work because I'll drink water on my way to work. When I'm in my car, it's a good time to drink water.
Right.
I'm more likely when I'm home to drink tea instead of water.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the water worked, and where would you say you are, from 0 to 10 on a scale? Where are you right now with being able to continue doing well with the water habit?
I would say like being 9.
A 9. So that's pretty confident that you're going to be able to keep going with that.
Yeah. And I have to keep it consciously around, but yes, other than
And where are you now in terms of, you look at your sleep, and then you wanted to look at the consistency of good eating when you're not at work, where are you relatively speaking on those two things on a scale? Just as a curiosity, right?
On sleep, I put myself at a 6.
At a 6,
Yeah.
okay.
And on the food, I'm going to put myself like at a 5. There's a lot of room for improvement there.
Well, and if this were a coaching conversation, I might ask you something like, wow, it's a 5. Why is it a 5 and not a 4? But that's not what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So anyway, we just wanted to give a quick idea of how this would work. I think this was, 10 minutes. It's a check-in. It happens every couple of weeks. It's for accountability. It's for conversation. We're both a little stiff because we're we're doing this for the first time. But anyway, any last thoughts?
Nope. I guess, yeah. My biggest thing I think this week is going to be accountable the whole entire week.
All right. So why don't we set that? Would it be fair to maybe set up a little experiment of watching for the next 7 days? How, and you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but maybe, on each day, give yourself an awareness of how well you did, how easy it was to maintain consistency sort of through the days that you work. Yeah. And then create that habit of looking at the off days as well and kind of monitoring where you fit numerically.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sounds good.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.